Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at Mela 2, which is deceptively powerful. Yeah, it's really powerful synth actually, to be fair. So it's called Mela 2 Synth and Effects because if you use it as an AUV3, you get all these effects as a completely separate app that you can use on any of your other synths and things like this. So we're doing this in standalone. We're probably it's kind of not like a patch design tutorial as such, just the kind of crazy stuff that you can do and how you can do it. What's really brilliant about Mela 2 is the fact that it has 16 modulation slots. 16! It's madness. 16. Not many synths have 16 modulation slots, and it's really good. And for each of those modulation slots, you have, as you can see, you have, oops, I've got this set at none at the moment. You can assign any of the 3 LFOs, so it has 3 FOs, any of the 3 envelopes. Now, your amp envelope is pre-wired to the actual volume. You keep pressing. As would be normally expected, and these 2 completely freely assignable LFOs, and each of the envelopes, and each of these envelopes can also run in loop mode as well. So effectively, like, you can create another 2 LFOs or 3 LFOs. You could have 6 LFOs going if you like, kind of thing. That's how it kind of works when you loop an envelope. And then you have pitch bend as a source. Aftertouch as source, mod wheel, key, and velocity. You also have 4 oscillators and 2 filters, and these are also freely routable. If you go into routing here, you can route these as you wish. So at the moment, oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 are going into filter 1. Actually, oscillator 1, 2, and 3 have been summed together to go into filter 1. And then go into the effects, and then oscillator 4 is set to go through filter 2, but you can do like a split like this. So 1 and 2 are going into filter 1, and 3 and 4 are going into filter 2, and then you can have them shared split like this, or in parallel where they all go into both filters and then into the effects. Yeah, it's also, and then you can have them in serial like this. Okay, so let's go with the initial one, which is there. And then the effects is after both filters, or before filter 1, or after filter 1. Okay, so we can leave that as it's set as it is. So 4 oscillators. Each of those oscillators, now I've set this up as an initial patch. Double tap to reset the default value. So this is a square wave, and at the moment it's running free, or you can have it run free, sorry. For each of these square waves, each of these oscillators, you have triangle, you have trapezoid, and then you also have 2 sines, a phase distortion, which is like a bit like a sine, and then a noise oscillator as well. So say for instance on square, then we have a volume level for each of the oscillators. Polyphony up to 16 voices, and then polyphonic glide as well. Along the top here, oops, sorry about that. Along the top here, you have your, basically these are your performance controls. They're macros, or macros that you can, well, anything that you see in is like when it says semitones or something, if you tap it, you'll see it says perform, which means that you can assign it to slot 5, 6, 7, or 8 because there's only been 4, or you can replace one of the slots. So if we assigned it to 5, say, we'd get it there with octave semitones. Now been in our macros as well. Tapping this little button here will bring up your preset browser, and then tapping this will bring up the keyboard, the on-screen keyboard, of course. But since I'm using a MIDI controller, we don't need to see this. So For each of the actual oscillators, you also have, apart from the noise oscillator, which is slightly different. If we have a quick look at the noise oscillator, you only get the level of the noise in a pan. However, we can assign any of the parameters for any of the oscillators to either of the any of the envelopes or any of the LFOs as well, which I'll also show you shortly. So back to square. You also have this fantastic shape control, which is a little bit like pulse width mod, except that you can do it on things like all the waveforms, which is really nice. Great. So, and you have four, like I said, you have four of these by default. The filters are full open, so I'll put this on something that you'll hear the filter on, for instance the square. And we haven't done any shaping of the amp envelope yet or anything like that. I'm just literally just showing you the oscillator stuff. So filters, you have a morphable filter, so we'll morph between different filter types. So band pass, high pass. So from low pass, band pass to high pass. And then you have an XY controller for the cutoff and the resonance. You also have 12 dB slope for A, 12 dB slope, 24 dB slope A, and also a 12 dB slope B. I think we'll leave it on 12 dB slope. So let's set for this. Now, assigning modulation is a piece of cake. Oh yeah, while we're here as well, I'll also show you right. So you can control the frequency by these two knobs as well. And you can see how you move. But like Sam just said, you've also got filter drive. Okay. So that's one of the filters, and there's the other filter there. Okay, filter 2. We're not going to hear filter 2 doing anything, because if you look at your routing, oscillator 4 is running through filter 2. If we look at oscillator 4, you'll see that we've got it as set as a noise. You can have it set as anything, but it's set as a noise. Let's bring the level up, and let's look at filter 2. Okay, so just for now, let's go to oscillator 4, turn that down, go back to oscillator 1, which is the oscillator that's working. Some of the other cool stuff you can do. So we've got this shape control here. First thing we'll do is we'll get that sound to modulate. So we'll use LFO1 to modulate this shape control. So all we need to do is go into our mod matrix here. We'll use slot number 1, and then we should choose LFO1 as the source. So let's have a look at LFO1 while we're here as the source. And then the target, we're going to do oscillator 1 shape. So here you'll go. You can use all oscillators for one of the LFOs, but we're going to look at oscillator 1 here. And then look, you'll see that in oscillator 1 we can choose the shape. So we'll choose shape. we're not going to hear anything because we haven't given an amount, we haven't given it anything to do. So we need to bring up the intensity to hear the effect on the shape control for oscillator 1. Very nice. And then you've got your depth control here, which is like a volume for the a volume for the LFO. So the higher the depth, the more you will hear the effect. You can also sync the LFO to the BPM. Now at the moment, we're working in standalone, but the BPM is 120. So if we sync it, we're on 1/4 rate. Go to a 16. Or we can have it just free running. You can also have it bipolar. So at the moment when this is switched off, it's unipolar. That means it's only having a action in a positive direction. Now it's going up and down below the lines. And then we have a phase control, which basically will adjust. If you can imagine the LFO working like this, because we're in a triangle, it's kind of going like up and down, up and down. The phase will shift the position of that waveform. Okay, so we've assigned our shape of oscillator 1 to LFO 1. Let's go back now. And let's do this. Let's set the pan here like this. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we'll go to oscillator 2. I'm going to turn down oscillator 1 a minute. Go to oscillator 2. Turn that up, and I'm going to choose a different waveform. I'll choose this trapezoid. And I'll move the shape. And I'll also, just for fun, I will also assign the shape of oscillator 2 to the same LFO. So we go LFO 1 again. And this time we're going to choose oscillator 2 and oscillator 2 shape. And give it something to do. And we're also going to shift oscillator, we'll turn it up a little bit as well. And we're going to shift the pan position of oscillator 2 over this way. So when we bring oscillator 1 back in now, we've got a nice wide, like kind of sound. It's oscillating, but we're just using one LFO. And only 2 of our 16 modulation slots. So this time what we can do is we can start to make sure that our volume is not going to go out of control. So that sound feels too loud. So we're going to look at... There is another harmonic control, but that will apply to a different shape. So now... we've got some nice movement and a very super basic sort of thing pad. Now we'll start to mess around with our envelope here. We'll give it some release. So let's take our sustain level down. So it's more like actually... And let's bring our decay back a little bit for that. So now we're getting more into like a kind of piano-y type. And we've still got some release as well, if we want to. So 2 oscillators being used now. Let's look at the effects. Okay, so we've got distortion, phaser, chorus, flanger, delay. We'll start with delay. It does not have a reverb. However, since it's an AUV3, you can, if you want to, apply your own reverbs, of course. What we're going to use, we're going to switch bypass off. I'm going to bring the mix up. Feedback is only going to happen once, so, and they're both running at 300 milliseconds. I think I can get away with probably turning the volume up a little bit as well. So this time we're going to bring the feedback level up kind of slightly differently for each one. And then the speed, if we make the speed quicker now, but slightly different, we get more of a we're getting kind of a reverby kind of effect, I suppose. Turn the feedback up a little bit more as well. Because a reverb, all the reverb is very fast delays in digital terms. Well, actually in real life terms as well, because basically you're sending echoes backwards and forwards. So if you have very fast delay times and high feedback times, it starts to sound like a bucket brigade delay, sort of, until we start to adjust our times, of course. And then we get kind of lower the feedback a little bit. Now the smoothing is really nice. It's going to make it even more like a reverb because it's smoothing out those delay tails. So faster now. But we want some, we want some time on this, so. The filter's really nice. So if I turn the feedback up, we have a filter for the decays. Okay, so too much feedback anyway. And we also have the ability to sync this as well. We also have different modes for the delay. So we have inverted, cross delays, that's really nice. What I haven't looked at, interestingly, I wonder if I have a target for the effects. I don't. Oh, I do. Oh, great. So what we could do now, this is nice. So maybe we can yeah, let's see if we can assign one of the envelopes this time. Not an LFO, or maybe an LFO. No, maybe LFO2. Let's see if we can assign LFO2 to one of the timings, because it's always nice when you change the timings. So let's see if we've got that there. So if we go in here, look at LFO2, and then we go to our destinations and we look at delay, which is right at the top. We see what we've got here. We've got time. We've got time. So we should be able to look at LFO2 now and give it some amount. Not quite as much depth. How cool's that? No, in all seriousness, though. Great for effects, that is. But it's a bit extreme. So we could maybe, instead of it being the delay time, we could say, like, let's have a look at delay and go, oh, okay, well, maybe the feedback. And we can with ramping up. Lovely, and we've already used 2 oscillators and 3 mod slots and a bit of delay. So let's turn the mix down to the delay and the filter as well. I don't even think we need anything on there just yet, so we could take that off and use it for something else. It was just an example of controlling the time with an LFO. We've got a flanger as well. I'm going to go back to the amp and I'm going to adjust the attack a little bit. And you also have, if we make this a bit extreme, we have exponential and logarithmic slopes. So if we go all the way down, we've got an exponential slope. We won't hear that so much because of the sustain level. So if I take the sustain level up, you'll hear it a lot better. Or that's the slope for the sustain. Let's go back to the timing here and change the slope for this to exponential. And then double tap to reset the default or set it to linear. So let's look at our noise. And we know our noise is going through to filter 2. Let's leave it on bandpass. And let's use LFO2 now to sweep the filter cutoff. So we'll set it really, really slow. So if we go to oscillator 4 and the not oscillator 4, sorry, LFO, we want to be on filter 2. So filter 1, filter 2, and we wanted to sweep the frequency. And let's look at LFO2 and slow it down. Let's make it more deep. Let's put it on a sine wave so it's smooth. And I think it could be a little bit darker as well, filter 1. That's nice. So I think on the amp as well, since it's now turned into a pad, we can pull out the release a little bit, and also control the volumes a little bit. Let's use LFO3 to modulate the pan control for oscillator 4, so that noise sweeps backwards and forwards as well. So again, we'll choose LFO3, and we'll go with what was it? Oscillator 4's pan control. So oscillator 4, the pan here, and then we'll give it 100% to start with. Look at LFO3, switch it on, let's give it a sine wave, full depth, set the phase about 50%. I wonder if we can use LFO2 to also modulate the rate for LFO3. Let's just see. So again, LFO2, and let's see if we can modulate LFO. Was it LFO2? Did I say? No, LFO2. I'll modulate the rate of LFO3. So LFO2 is going to set to modulate the rate of LFO3. So with LFO3 rate, and we'll give it. How cool is that? It's brilliant. That's really nice. Okay, so let's bring in another oscillator now. Just in fact, what I'll do is hit as well as I'll just hit save preset and call it noise sweep just for now. Save. We can like that's LFO3. It's nice on sine wave, I think. And it's nice that it's loads of movement now. So if, look, we're using 3 oscillators, okay, let's check out oscillator 3 for something else. let's have a look at listening to some of the others. Let's set oscillator 3, 7 semitones up, so a fifth. Oh, that's lovely. Now that is not. That's what the shape does. Let's open the shape full for this because it's only a sine wave. We're not really going to wear this, but let's assign the pan. What did we say? What was? Yeah, look. LFO3 is a panning oscillator 4. Let's also set it to pan oscillator 3. So we'll go LFO3 and we'll set it to pan oscillator 4. So oscillator 4, we'll set it to pan that as well. If you're listening through headphones, that sounds really nice. And we know that we could also, let's see. Just slightly detune it as well. So wibbles. If we play a chord now, it's lush. Because we've got the 7th in. I'm just going to save that. And I'll just overwrite it. So we haven't even messed with the distortion yet. Let's have a look at the chorusing. Oh, listen. Oh, look. Maybe let's use one of our let's use one of the envelopes here. Let's use one of the envelopes and let's first of all let's put it into loop mode, so it's going to behave like an LFO. It's gonna oh, hi Lids, how you doing? Hey, happy birthday for tomorrow, Mela dear. I didn't know you were here. So let's use one of these, let's use envelope 2, which is freely assignable, to control. We might use it both ways as well, so let's see. So we want a new mod slot here, and we're going to choose envelope 2, and we're going to set that to control the chorus and the what's it? Where we go? The chorus and rate 1, and I'm going to give it 100%. Can you hear it? bit slower. Save that as it is, just overwrite it. And we can try sine 2. Or even maybe phase distortion. Quite like that on sine 1. So phaser. And then finally, bit of distortion. Yeah. I like making patches that just loads and loads of movement. And look, look at all the blinking mod slots we've still got left. Look, loads, and there's tons of movement there. We also have a compressor. Make that soft. And we can turn the level of the noise down as well. If it was a bit much, you know. I think it sounds all right, actually. It's a strange pad, but quite pleasant as well. Like I said at the beginning. So guys, listen, I'm not going to go any further. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, where we program some stuff. Well, I would look around Mela 2 and the fact that it's really, really powerful, all on one screen. No need to go sort of... What we could do, I guess, is put loads and loads of polyphonic glide on there just for fun. And that would sound really quite nice. In fact, at full whack, we've got 5 seconds of glide time. On envelope as well, we can definitely pull the release out of that now. Anyway, brilliant. I'm going to save that as it is now. Thank you very, very much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at Mela 2 and a bit of sound design. And they're it's very easy to use. The mod matrix is absolutely fab. With 16 modulation slots, that's insane. Four oscillators. You can go like polyphonic glide as well, and up to 16 voices polyphony in total. You can open your preset browser by pressing this. Then you can actually get rid of the macros by doing that, so you're just working with the synth. You can even get rid of that, just bring up the keyboard, or you can have this and that switched on. So guys, I'll give you a couple of minutes to say ta-ra to each other. Bless you all. Thank you so much. And I hopefully will see you all tomorrow. All been well. But I really genuinely hope you found something of interest in there. Of course, most of this stuff applies to most synths. So, you know,